I was saying that we talk so much about women wrestling with the patriarchal culture, how we are products of our conditioning. We just heard Vidya talk about that. But what about the fact that men are also products of the same conditioning? And if there are tropes that are unfair to women, there are many such tropes that are unfair to men as well. So in this segment called He for She, I want to welcome on stage Corporate Leader and Vice President at Maersk, Rajesh Narayanan. If we can have him on stage, please. Rajesh. Hi, Rajesh. Welcome. Rajesh is a brave man because Vidya Balan is a hard act to follow. So we empathize, but at the same time, we want to express our appreciation because it's not too often that men are willing to engage and take part in this conversation. And we're hoping to have a very honest conversation from a male perspective, because men too, as I've been saying, are battling all kinds of stereotypes. So Rajesh, have a seat.
Thanks for that, Barkha. I must also say...
Just hold the mic closer.
It's a hard act to follow after Vidya. In the corporate world, we also say in the afternoon is not the most popular session to take. So hopefully you all stay awake and...
well, I'm sure you're going to energize us all. You know, we've had some very interesting conversations on stage. And just before Vidya, there was an army officer from the military who was talking about how both she and her husband are in the military, and she doesn't think about anything else, but sometimes she feels guilty because her 7-year-old daughter is being brought up by a larger family support system. And too often, women are the first to step back from their careers and allow the men to flourish. And I know that you have very honestly agreed to share your personal story here. So I want you to talk a little bit, Rajesh, first about you, your wife, how that sort of career trajectory has been for both of you, and how you've handled some of these tricky questions of who steps back, who moves ahead.
Yeah. Thanks. This is something important for me. I must say that as a corporate person, I've been helped a lot by my wife. She's been a big pillar of support, and she's actually helped me focus on my career, where she stepped back a little bit. Now, I must say, when I think about it, right, as a corporate leader and in the organization, we try to bring in diversity, we try to recruit female leaders, because diversity, we know, helps the organization. It helps creativity, it helps things improve. But then when I reflect on it myself, I actually feel, hey, I'm not a poster boy for this.
Why do you feel that?
Because I feel like between the two of us, you know, she took that role as a hero for me, where, you know, allowing me to carry forward with my career. So you always have that in back of your mind. In my own self, then I also think that, okay, these are learnings you take. This is also how, perhaps you didn't do it for yourself. This is how we dealt with between me and my wife. But then we bring our daughter up now, right? I'm responsible for a lot of colleagues in the organization. These are experiences you try to bring forth to see, okay, how do you make it different looking ahead? How do you make it better for somebody else? And, you know, how do you get a good mashup of it such that it works out more balanced?
But at what point did you actually notice in a conscious way that my wife had to take the knock to her career to allow me to flourish? Today, of course, you're very honestly owning that and you're talking about how you realize that, but I'm sure half the time you weren't conscious of it and you just took it for granted.
Yeah. No, I can, that's good. It's probably over a series of things, but one incident I would really like to talk about here. Actually, early last year, I lost my dad due to COVID.
I'm so sorry, I did too.
Yeah,
so I know how it feels.
It's tough. I can tell you, these are emotions you have not dealt with. These are situations you never dealt with by yourself. Suddenly, my mom was by herself. She was in Cochin. We are in Mumbai. Work-related pressure, all that, when it started happening. I think I went through certain emotions which are difficult to describe. But it also made me realize that some of these challenges that you face is not really gender-specific.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I was feeling challenged myself. And until I kind of accepted, and maybe also fair to say that sometimes as men, we are brought up with a certain stereotype of expectations.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if my picture is up there, you're wearing a suit, you're in the office, people look at you in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's the expectation. That's how it you should be. Now, from there to kind of accept that, okay, men and women equally face challenges. I was facing huge challenges at that point in time.
Yeah.
And how do you feel comfortable talking about it? How do you feel comfortable taking support from it and so on? And being in a place of balance to be able to help out. I think that was super important. Now, in the context of how my wife was helping me and so on, okay, maybe career is one thing she couldn't, but being in that situation of equality, being in that situation where you are able to help each other and so on, I think that is what sustains long in the partnership that we have.
And you make this important point that not all things are gender specific. Men also battle. I mean, you have to, let's say, showing up to work while you're grieving your father. Kids wanting attention while you've got a deal to close. And you're absolutely right, except I think men don't battle equality at home in the same way that women have to. So my next question is about Maersk and what you as a company leader, a corporate leader have done, that what your wife had to do to step back from her career to enable in a way yours and your family's central core. What are some of the things you've done that other women do not have to do what your wife had to do?
Thanks. And this is where some of the experiences you try to bring forward, and me as a leader, how do you pay it back in that sense, right? So as a company in Maersk, we start with looking at how do you create opportunities for women with equity in terms of sometimes a good example, and again connecting to my wife's story, she first quit her career when we had our daughter, right? And then she probably was not able to come back at the right time. We have, and some of these experiences we try to, now I'm taking a personal experience of mine, but we try to look at how do we collectively look at what is meaningful for people. This is not about some corporate stuff happening, but what is really meaningful and how do you translate that to something valuable. So in this example that I take, we have a program called Back to Work, where female employees or women are given the opportunity to come back even if they've taken a break. You kind of make it easy to come back to the organization and join in. So recruitment is one part of it. But quite often once you bring women onto work and people have taken a gap or whatever it be, how do you create equity at workplace? How do you promote inclusion so that people are open to speak up, women are open to speak up? Our company Maersk is a shipping logistics company. It has got a masculine image to it, not too many females around. So it is work for us to make sure that the environment.
And how do you do that?
So a couple of things. Once you bring, so first is how do you hire and how do you create opportunities like what I was speaking about. The second thing is equally how do you create an environment which is equal, and how do you also encourage that people are open to speak up and create networks inside whereby colleagues feel supported in the organization. And to me, one important thing here is about the empowerment that we have, because not everything, it's not the same for everyone, right? You can make a policy and you can make it as broad-based as possible, but sometimes the situations are quite unique and specific. The more empowered colleagues feel in the organization to speak up. I have a situation like this. Do you feel comfortable to talk about it? And then you have colleagues or leaders who are willing to listen. Do you absorb what is the situation and then try to look at solutions? And when you have common themes coming up, look to see how do you make policy. So in some ways, it's not a top-down, here is a policy and let's all follow, versus how do you bring it a bit bottom-up.
But let's also talk, from a male perspective. I mean, as a man, you have spoken about recognizing the sacrifice your wife had to make. At Maersk, the measures you're taking to make it more, I don't know, I want to use the word more efficient and enabling for women to come back to work or maybe not leave in the first place. But what about the stereotypes that also are inflicted on men? For example, the pressure to be a provider. For example, the pressure to be a certain kind of successful person compared to your partner. For example, if you wanted long family leave, you may not have the same flexibility that a woman would. So, we want to have an honest conversation about some of those pressures also.
Yeah, which is true. And here, Barkha, I think what really makes a difference is the equity with which we kind of create policies or arrangements whereby people feel similar in the organization. I give an example of, you took the example of holidays. Is there more pressure on men to take holidays? We're actually on a small break right now in Jaipur.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we've got this, we had to attend this conference, and then there is a holiday coming for Holi a couple of days later.
Yeah.
So why not combine it? So my wife is here with me, and we said, okay, why not combine it?
Is she here in the audience?
She's here in the audience.
Where are you? Come on, we have to get you up on stage. Because we've heard all about this person who had to give up her career to enable, your husband's career. I think we must have your perspective. Okay? Come on, audience, you can do better than that. Hi. So, one thing I must admire about him is that he's very honestly admitted that he realized at some point you had to take a step back. And he's acknowledging that. A lot of people don't even acknowledge that. But I'm sure you're carrying dreams of your own, and it wasn't always easy for you to make that sacrifice.
Yeah, so it's been 26 years since we are married. So when I had my daughter, it was a very willingful decision from my side. He never told me anything. Just left me to decide what I wanted to. And at that time also we were outside, and child support was not very easy. So then I very happily took this, taking this journey with my daughter, motherhood, which I really enjoyed, I must say. When I look back, it's been a very, very enjoyable journey, and I still, want to go back to those days where that is one part. And then coming back to work, since we moved a lot of places, I was not in a position to actually get back because we did move three years. So, and my daughter, we were like, moving and traveling and getting relocated. So I didn't really feel that much at that point. Now that my daughter she's like independent, 23 years old. So yeah, now I do feel maybe we could have had, maybe I should have gotten into something earlier, because now it's been very long. But so when he tells me that Maersk has these, opportunities for women, so I really feel that maybe we could have had a lot more of those days.
And so you have an example right at home, but would you, if there was that opportunity, do you think you could have done both?
Then we would have had to see how maybe I would have done something part-time, maybe not full-time, because my child would be my priority. So I would have done something part-time, so I know that I'm also doing something that I like while taking care of my daughter and the family. And
thank you for sharing that story. Did you want to add something, Rajesh?
No, I think, I fully empathize with what she's saying. And I think, Barkha, we must say, we were thinking, should I actually say that she is out here? And she
I thought of it.
Got hold of it. But I think what I really appreciate in what she says is also how some of these things, how we look at it in the company. This is about...
Yeah, I want to hear that. Like today, if there were these policies, she may not have had to do what she had to do, which was my question.
Yes, so absolutely. So that is about listening actively to understand what is going on, and not creating policies in a boardroom where, if you don't know what is really out there, then you're not making it meaningful. I would also encourage, we've got a stall out there. You should go and visit and see what kind of programs we have, how we can help out and things like that. Maybe another trivia as well, right? Our company is, we are located in 130 countries. We are 100,000 people. We recently announced the executive leadership team, which is very diverse, multi-gender, different years of experience and so on. It's inherent in the organization. And I can say this doesn't happen overnight. It comes because it's more deep-rooted. It's because how you think. I reflect on my story, and I'm able to translate it back into the organization. If I don't feel empowered like that, it's not going to happen in the rest of the company.
Well, I'm going to say thank you to both of you for sharing your story. So thank you.